You think making a woman obsessed is about tricks, tactics, messages, and timing. But the truth is darker. Obsession doesn't come from what you say. It comes from what you are when she can't read you. Most men destroy attraction because they chase clarity, reassurance, and validation. They flood her with availability, explanations, emotional noise. And without realizing it, they hand her all the power, then wonder why she pulls away. Here's the uncomfortable reality. Women don't become obsessed with men who try to control them. They become obsessed with men they can't emotionally predict, can't dominate, and can't emotionally destabilize. And if you've never experienced a woman slowly attaching to you while you did nothing to chase her, this will feel disturbing. Here's the first truth most men never realize. She becomes drawn to emotional stability. Not because she wants boring or passive, but because most men are chaotic, reactive, and emotionally loud. When you stay steady while she tests, withdraws, or sends mixed signals, something shifts in her mind. Your calm becomes a psychological anchor. She starts feeling like you are the only stable thing in her emotional environment. That's when she starts thinking about you when you're not there. Not because you chased her, but because your emotional presence felt rare. This is where most men get it wrong. They think emotional intensity creates obsession. They think passion, texting, emotional dumping, and constant engagement will make her bond. But emotional stability is what creates long-term psychological attachment. When you don't explode, don't beg, don't panic, don't overreact, she starts leaning toward you emotionally. Your calm becomes addictive, and this leads to the second truth most men never realize. She fixates on consistent, calm energy. Consistency is terrifyingly powerful. Most men are inconsistent because they're driven by ego and fear. One day they're confident, next day they're insecure. One day they're dominant, next day they're needy. Women feel this shift instantly, and inconsistency creates anxiety, not obsession. But when your emotional energy stays grounded, predictable, and controlled, something in her nervous system relaxes. She starts feeling emotionally safe, emotionally curious, and emotionally invested at the same time. That combination is dangerous, because safety plus uncertainty creates obsession. She feels grounded by you, but she can't emotionally dominate you, so her mind keeps returning to you. And this is the part nobody warns you about. She obsesses over a man with boundaries. Boundaries are not rules you tell her. They are limits she feels without you explaining. When you don't tolerate disrespect, don't chase when ignored, don't drop your life for her attention, her brain flags you as high value. Not because of arrogance, but because you're emotionally independent. Most men think boundaries will push her away. Sometimes they do. But when a woman senses she cannot control your time, emotions, or decisions, curiosity spikes. She wonders where she stands. She wonders how important she really is to you. And that uncertainty can quietly turn into fixation. Here's the uncomfortable part. When you say no, when you pull back, when you don't chase, you create emotional gravity. She leans in because she can't emotionally dominate you. Reason number 4 why obsession quietly forms. She chases what feels rare and unavailable. Not unavailable like ignoring her, unavailable like having a life that doesn't orbit her. Scarcity is psychological poison and desire fuel at the same time. When you're always there, always available, always replying instantly, you feel replaceable. When your time feels limited, your attention feels selective, and your energy feels grounded elsewhere, her mind starts competing for you. She imagines other women. She imagines losing you, and her brain attaches through imagined loss before real attachment even forms. If you've experienced this, you already know. The moment you stopped chasing, she started leaning in. Not because she wanted you more, but because your scarcity triggered emotional urgency. Now here's a deeper layer most men never notice. She bonds when she feels truly understood. Understanding is not listening politely. It's seeing patterns in her emotions before she explains them. It's noticing subtle shifts in tone, energy, and behavior. When you read her without trying to fix her, she feels exposed and connected at the same time. Being understood feels like intimacy without touch. It lowers defenses. It makes her feel seen in ways most men never reach. And when a woman feels seen, she starts attaching in silence. This is where obsession becomes dangerous. Because understanding creates emotional nakedness. She starts sharing more, thinking more, feeling more. Not because you forced her, but because she feels emotionally visible. And then there's something even more subtle. She gets attached to quiet confidence, not loud dominance, not fake alpha behavior. Quiet confidence is the man who doesn't seek validation, doesn't brag, doesn't over-explain. He moves like he doesn't need permission to exist. Quiet confidence creates emotional authority without words. She senses control, self-worth, and grounded identity. And when she's around it, she adjusts her behavior subconsciously. She becomes more attentive, more curious, more emotionally aware. This is where most men sabotage themselves. They perform confidence, they act, they exaggerate. Women feel performance instantly. Quiet confidence cannot be faked for long, and when it's real, it becomes psychologically magnetic. And now listen carefully. She craves depth over surface charm. Charm is entertainment. Depth is emotional immersion. When conversations go beyond jokes, flirting, and surface-level attraction, she starts entering emotional territory. Depth makes her think about you when she's alone. Surface charm makes her enjoy you in the moment and forget you later. Depth feels dangerous because it triggers vulnerability. She starts feeling layers, history, tension, emotional connection. That's when obsession begins forming in the background, not in the moment. This is the moment most men don't realize they lost control. She responds to mystery, not oversharing. When you tell her everything, explain every thought, share every emotion, you remove psychological tension. Mystery gives her mind something to chase. She imagines you. She thinks about you. She wonders what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're doing. Her imagination becomes the engine of obsession. And most men kill this by talking too much. If you overshare, you become emotionally predictable. Predictable men are comfortable, not intoxicating. And finally, here's the truth that should make you uncomfortable. She fixates when she feels emotionally safe. Safety is not weakness. Safety is emotional control, boundaries, and consistency combined. When fear is removed but emotional dominance remains uncertain, attachment forms fast. She feels safe enough to open up, but not safe enough to emotionally control you. That gap between safety and uncertainty is where obsession grows. And now the mid-script truth you probably don't want to hear. None of this is about techniques. It's about identity. Women don't become obsessed with actions. They become obsessed with patterns of presence they can't destabilize. You're not being chased because of what you text. You're being chased because of who you are when she tests you. When she pulls away. When she acts cold. When she tries to control the pace. Your reaction defines everything. Most men collapse emotionally when they feel distance. They chase. They explain. They seek reassurance. They destroy the very psychological tension that could have created attachment. And here's the tension point you need to sit with. If a woman never obsesses over you, it's not because you weren't nice, funny, or attractive. It's because you were emotionally predictable, emotionally reactive, and emotionally available in a way that killed mystery and dominance. She escalates attachment when you stay invisible emotionally at key moments. Pull back slightly, not to manipulate, but to maintain your identity, and watch her mind chase. Her subconscious hates uncertainty, but it also craves the rare emotional calm she cannot control. Your absence becomes magnetic because it contrasts with the chaos she unconsciously experiences elsewhere. This is where most men panic. She tests emotional strength silently. Not by confrontation, not by arguments, but by sending tiny signals. Delayed replies, subtle coldness, passive withdrawal. She observes how you respond. She watches if you collapse emotionally or keep your energy grounded. Every hesitation, every overreaction, every attempt to win her back chips away at potential obsession. She doesn't tell you. She doesn't need to. Her brain is quietly cataloging, attaching, and deciding. And here's the second dark truth most men never see. She obsesses over men who maintain boundaries without apology. Boundaries are invisible, but they scream value. Say yes to everything, and she loses fascination. Say no where it matters, and she can't stop thinking about you. Curiosity grows where control is denied. Your restraint becomes her mental playground. Her thoughts swirl, projecting fantasies, measuring your worth, wondering what you're feeling when you're not around. And the more she chases, the more she bonds. Reason 3 why obsession forms is subtle, almost cruel. She becomes fixated when she senses emotional safety combined with emotional scarcity. Not availability, safety. When fear is removed, but dominance remains uncertain, her nervous system loops on you endlessly. She imagines losing you. She imagines moments you weren't there. Every imagined absence strengthens attachment. This is where most men destroy themselves without knowing. They flood her with attention. They answer instantly. They apologize for distance. And in doing so, they collapse the very tension that fuels obsession. Obsession thrives in controlled unpredictability, not emotional overexposure. Here's the fourth truth you need to absorb. She bonds most deeply when she feels truly understood, not complimented, not flattered, not fixed, simply seen. Understanding is silent validation. It creates emotional nakedness. It turns curiosity into fixation. She starts noticing patterns in you, reading subtle cues, aligning mentally without you saying a word. When this happens, attachment intensifies faster than she realizes, or you. And the fifth truth is almost invisible but lethal. She gets attached to quiet confidence. This is the calm man who doesn't over-explain, doesn't prove, doesn't need validation. He moves like gravity itself. He commands presence without raising his voice, without flashing status, without chasing desire. She feels grounded, yet unsettled at the same time. And that tension, paradoxically, makes her think about him constantly. Reason 6 is a pit most men never notice until it's too late. She craves depth over surface charm. Flattery, clever lines, and humor are temporary. True obsession forms when she experiences emotional immersion. Conversations that uncover subtle fears, hidden thoughts, and unspoken needs create mental hooks she cannot ignore. Depth is dangerous because it makes her emotionally naked, mentally invested, and psychologically entwined with you. This is the seventh truth you'll ignore at your own risk. She responds to mystery, not oversharing. Every thought you reveal too soon, every reaction you justify, every vulnerability you offer prematurely destroys tension. Mystery pulls her in. Unknown boundaries, subtle behavior, and selective presence keep her mind spinning. Her brain fills gaps with intrigue, desire, and imagined intimacy that you never created. Here's the eighth and most disturbing truth of obsession. She fixates when she feels emotionally safe, but not fully in control. Safety allows her to explore vulnerability. Scarcity creates need. The combination makes her addicted to thinking about you. And if you've maintained boundaries, calm energy, mystery, and depth, she's trapped in her own mind. Her attachment is now self-generated. Now the mid-script reset. Here's the part most men can't face. This isn't about you changing her mind. It's about you understanding what she feels and doesn't tell you. Obsession is not manipulation. It's a mirror reflecting the emotional chaos most men bring into relationships. If you've ever chased, begged, or over-explained, this is the exact pattern she subconsciously avoided. Your calm, your boundaries, your self-possession, these are what create psychological magnetism. If you can't accept that, you'll never comprehend why she's obsessed, or why she eventually leaves. And here's the ninth truth, almost unbearable. Once she's obsessed, the power dynamics flip. She thinks she's in control. She thinks her desire is yours to command, but attachment always bends toward the man who remains grounded, unreactive, and emotionally scarce in the right measure. And most men fail here because they assume obsession equals dominance. It doesn't. Obsession without control is a trap. You're admired, fixated on, but not respected. Not fully. The 10th truth, and the one that will linger long after this video ends, is brutal. Once you understand how obsession works, you can never unsee it. You see the invisible forces that pull her toward you, and the ones you voluntarily surrendered to other men. You realize that attraction is never fair. It's never about deserving or being good enough. It's about emotional structure, identity, and the gaps she cannot fill herself. And the most unnerving part? You now know exactly how she experiences desire, and there's nothing she can do to stop it when it's fully triggered. This is the final descent. Obsession is a double-edged sword. She will think about you constantly, want to be near you, and crave your energy. But if you ever lose that calm, that quiet confidence, that emotional structure, it collapses instantly. Obsession doesn't survive emotional chaos. It thrives on measured, deliberate, grounded presence. Once you've seen this, your relationships can never be the same. Your eyes are open, your awareness is heightened, and it's terrifying because most men never realize how much they gave away before she ever became obsessed. So here's the cold, undeniable truth to end with. If you understand these dynamics, if you maintain calm, boundaries, depth, mystery, and quiet confidence, she can't help but fixate. But you will always carry the knowledge that obsession is fragile, psychological, and entirely dependent on the structure you provide without asking. She's not obsessed because you're better than other men. She's obsessed because you are rare, unavailable, and emotionally steady in a world of chaos. And that's the final, uncomfortable realization. You can't unsee it. You can't unknow it. You can only be it.